Right. Good day, grade 12 tourism learners. Welcome to today's tourism lesson. I'm Mr. Samgelo Innocent Luyanda Nkonyeni, one of the grade 12 tourism educators and an HOD from Ekurhuleni South District. This lesson is brought to you by Gauteng Department of Education in collaboration with Sibona Discovery Center and a broadcast by Pagama Research and Development. We are still busy with term 2's and term 3's work, whereby we are about to finish our syllabus now. We are just left with 3, if not 4 topics. Then we should be done and now preparing for our final exams. Right? I hope your PAT went well today and yesterday, and I'm hoping that some of the topics that I dealt with earlier in the year, they've also assisted you there and there to answer your tourism practical exam. Right, my sources are from Via Africa Tourism Grade 12 Learners Book and Focus Grade 12 Tourism Learners Book, and also Oxford Successful Tourism Grade 12 Learners Book. I've also used some of the sources from the GDE and DBE past exam papers to do activities and so on. This is so that we can be able to get used to the standard of the final exam papers. What we are about to do today, especially the learners who do not do tourism in grade 10, they should also try to focus, because this topic was started with in grade 10, whereby we looked at forms of payment or method to pay for our goods and services. In grade 10, we looked at technology used for payment, right? So in grade 12, we are looking at forms of payment when traveling internationally. Basically, we are going to be looking at different types of payment method when we travel internationally. Which payment method it is correct, which one it is applicable, which one it is the easiest, and then we're also going to look at the advantages and disadvantages of each payment method. Right. The lesson objectives for today. We are first going to look at the concept of forms of payments, but our focus it is when traveling internationally. Remember earlier in term 2, we looked at BBR and BSR. We also looked at foreign exchange and also the concepts. So now this is going to be part of your question 9 of your papers, but now we're going to look at forms of payment when we travel internationally. Right. After looking at the concept of forms of payment, we will then try now to go deeper, whereby we'll be looking at the advantages of each payment method, meaning the use and also the advantages of each payment method. Then from there, we'll also look at the disadvantages of each payment method, more especially because we are saying that not all payment methods are applicable. They all depend on the scenarios. Then we will try to look at, if we have enough time, look at customer feedback. And then from there, after customer feedback, we'll try to look at methods used to obtain customer feedback. Then we will try again to do analyzing customer feedback. Then you'll also look at the impacts of service delivery on business profit. And then you will do some of the activities. But the main thing for today, it is just to look at the forms of payment. Then if we have enough time, then we'll move to customer feedback. If not, then we will do customer feedback the following week. So I hope you have pen and paper wherever you are as we are going to start. If this was taught already there by your school, we are just going to be doing additions to what your educator had given you. Let's move. It is very important here that you also are able to analyze the visuals. The visuals are the pictures, right? In most of our past exam papers, as I looked at, they have also given us pictures, and we know that the visual pictures, they will assist the visual learners. We may give you pictures in your final exam papers and also your prelims, but those pictures are just not there. They are there for a reason. Analyze the picture. They will help you to do what? To identify the correct form of payment. And when you look at this topic, yes, it is about money, but most of the time, these are the things that we use on daily basis, if not every day. Let's look first at this picture one, right? Remember, I said I have also added few of the grade 10 stuff because this topic was studied in grade 10 and not all learners did tourism in grade 10. When you look at this one, let me just label it picture number one. What do we have here? In grade 10, when we were doing technology used for payment, we spoke about what? A speed point, right? So this is our speed point. And then here, what do we have? Let us say we've got our credit card, right? Obviously, this one we see it time and again when you are buying fuel, when you are swiping for things and so on. This is a speed point that is you. It is a technology use, but what is it that is being used here to make a payment? It is what? It is a credit card. So I said you need to know how to analyze the pictures. Then let's go to picture two. When you get to picture two here, right, this is for visual learners. What do we have here? As you can see, we have a computer keyboard. There it is, right? But here you also have what? A currency card. This is a bank card. There it is. And then when you check here on the keyboard, let's just analyze here. I'll try to circle it. It says what? Pay online. So pay online, what do you mean by online? It means via the internet, right? So obviously an internet using what? A computer and so on. So what do you call that one? Internet payment. So you will know that, oh, now when they say pay online, what are they talking about? They are talking about what? Internet payment. Then we have another card here again. Remember the first one we said it is a credit card. Then this one is written here currency card. So there is also a bank card that is used. Then when you look at this one, right? Remember here we are talking about forms of payment when traveling where international, meaning when you leave your country to go to another country. When you look at it at this one, it is also a bank card. But let's just try to interpret what happens there. Can you see it says multi-currency cash passport? So it is a currency card, meaning this one will be used. And then, okay, also when you check it, it says Travelex, right? So this one, it is known as a cash passport. It is a multi-currency card. Obviously, I'm going to explain it later in terms of how do you obtain this card. When it says multi-currency, obviously it means this card can be able to load different types of currencies, depending obviously on the country that you are visiting or you will be visiting. So it is very important that on your papers you are also able to analyze the visuals, the pictures that are going to be given to you, because they may give you such pictures and say identify the payment method depicted or from shown by the picture below. Let's check the second one. The second one, again, we've got two things here. Here it is a cell phone, right? And then you have money. What is the link here? So here we are talking about what? Cell phone payment. Not sure if you're getting it. Then again, there's another picture. What do we have here? We have what? A laptop, right? Obviously, and then there is a card. So which one are we going to link this to? It is going to be online payment or internet payment. online payment or internet payment. So the visuals are very crucial when it comes to this topic, because this is such an easy topic whereby a person can get full free marks unless if you're not going to study. Then the third slide, again, we are still talking about what? Forms of payment. When you look at this one, obviously this will be for foreigners when they come here, because remember, when you are traveling, you need local what? Currency. So people from outside, they need what? South African rand. So this is going to be another form of payment. And then this one, obviously, it will be what? Cash. So obviously, it is going to depend again on the country that you are visiting to. So it is going to be cash or foreign currency. Obviously, for us South Africans, it is our local currency. But when you go to other countries, then we need what? Their cash or their foreign currency. Then there's another one here. Then we also have what? Credit cards here. So credit card can also be used as a what? As a payment method, right? So these were just some of the visuals that I decided to use for the introduction of our lesson. When you look at this, these are the things that you are doing when on daily basis. Please remember that we are available on our WhatsApp line 079 454 9535 079 454 9535. This is where you can be able to send us our questions so that we can be able to interact with us. Definitely, we will respond to your questions. All right, let's move now and look at the first payment method that you're going to be looking at now at grade 12 level. Remember, I did some sort of revision from grade 10, and we are saying you need to double check here when you are making decisions, especially if on your papers we will give you what? Scenarios. You need to know which payment method it is, be able to identify it as well on the picture, know a short description, and also know the use of each payment method. And then you must now double check, is this a payment method applicable? Is it easier for me to use, or I will need this one? You understand? So you might get such scenarios whereby especially going to be looking at the advantages and disadvantages of each payment method. Let's move. We are now saying that we first need to understand what you mean by forms of payment, right? Obviously, payment, we know that in tourism context, we need to pay, obviously, money for our goods and services that we receive. Right, so we need to pay obviously for the goods and services that you receive, or if you need to buy souvenirs. So now when you speak about forms of payment, we are saying there are different methods of payment that tourists can use to purchase goods and services. We are saying there are different methods of payments that tourists can use to purchase goods and services. But now I am saying each method is different. So we need to know that each payment method is different. Two, each method has its own advantages and also what its own disadvantages. So when we are studying each and every payment method, you need to know short description, how can you use it, what are its own advantages, what are its own disadvantages, and then be able to look at the picture or be able to identify it on the picture for visual learners. Do I know the payment method? Do I know its use? Do I know its advantages? Do I know its disadvantages in tourism context, especially when it comes to do what us having to purchase or buy goods and pay for services that we have received. Then I'm saying now, a payment method may be convenient, right, at a particular method or time, and At times not. So you need to double check, for example, if I need a cool drink, right? I've got this bottle of water, for example, right? It is still. If I need this bottle of water, let us say it is 18 rands. Do you think I can just use a credit card for this? Or I can just take out my 20 rands and buy this? Are you getting me? Another instance is that if, for example, you need to buy a meal for 100 rands and so on, which method would be best to pay via cash or via what? Credit card. If you need to book, for example, remember here I'm now talking about conveniency of each payment method. Obviously, to book accommodation or a flight, remember, you would be booking using what? A computer online, right? So that one, cash would not be the best method unless if you are physically there by the hotel and so on. So if it is a hotel in overseas, sometimes you need to book while in advance, and because you are booking in another country, in terms of convenience, you can say that the best method at that particular time could be you doing what? An EFT or an online payment and so on. So we need to analyze each payment method like that. Then another thing that you need to look at before you choose a payment method, you need to know that some methods of payment are not accepted in certain areas. Right. So in your travel planning, you need to make sure that you have planned for all this. I am saying some methods of payment are not accepted in certain areas. We are going to be looking at traveler's check later. So check, it is no longer accepted here in South African context by most businesses as a payment method due to fraud and so on and so on. So the last thing I'm saying, it is very important for tourists to know, right, and research each payment method before traveling where internationally. It is very important for tourists to know and research each payment method before traveling where internationally. Basically, what am I saying? We're going to learn about different method of payment that tourists can use to pay for goods and also to pay for services that they've received. And I'm saying each method of payment is different. And I'm saying each method of payment has its own advantages and disadvantages. And I'm saying the main thing that you need to look at again, it is the convenience of that particular method at particular time. Sometimes the payment method again may not be accepted in certain areas. So you need to know and research each payment method before traveling. That's what we are now going to be looking at. Right, at grade 12 level, let's just check now the first payment method for today. The first one that we have, we are going to be looking at electronic fund transfer. Electronic fund transfer, also known as what? EFT. So this is going to be payment method number 1. So what is an EFT, Mr. Mkonyeni? EFT, it is also known as online banking. Ne? Online banking, right? What do you mean by online banking? We are saying it is a method of transferring money where online. Online, obviously, it is via what? Via the internet. Via the internet in this context. Obviously, when you say via internet, obviously, you need to have registered. It is the payment or transfer of money using the internet wherever the tourists are and at any time. So here, when you look at that statement, it also has what? 2 advantages. The first one, it is the payment or transfer of money using what? The internet. Then you are saying wherever where the tourist is, meaning you are not limited in terms of distance and so on. And again, at any time. In terms of convenience, remember, that's what I said. So that's what we're talking about when you talk about what? Online payment. What else are you saying, Mr. Nkonyeni? I am saying in order to use this form of payment, then both the person paying, meaning for the transactions to happen, both the person paying and the business receiving the payment, right, must have internet banking accounts, right? This one is very crucial. It is very important. You will not be able to do EFT unless if you are not registered for what? For internet banking, right? So if you own a bank account, you also need to register for what? For internet banking. Obviously, you will need what? A computer. You will need to have your card. You will also need to have the website of that particular, bank that you are using. So when you register for internet banking, obviously they will give you you will create your username. Okay. They will need you to create your username, right? Plus a password. Password. Right. Obviously, when you want to make a transfer, remember we said you can be able to make a payment using the internet wherever where the tourists are or is, and at any time. So in order for you to do an electronic fund transfer, we said both the person paying and the business receiving the payment must have internet banking accounts, right? Then obviously, when you need to make a payment, you must get a laptop. A cell phone can also be used, but you must remember your username and also your password. The main important thing is that now, especially now in the banks, right? For example, some banks, major banks like FNB, they would have maybe four computers that can be used, for what? For online banking. You need to remember that you need to log off or log out. After you have completed a transaction, remember it, you must first log in, put your username, your password. At the end, on the far top right, then you need to log out, because if you don't do that, then the next person who's going to use your laptop, they might have what? Authority or an opportunity to do fraud and log in again to your password and do transfers and then steal your money. How do you do an internet payment? We are saying may be made from a computer. So this one has multiple functions, right? From a computer, from an ATM, from telephone, and also from a cell phone. From a telephone, how? Obviously, when you check your card, it also has numbers in the front and also the numbers at the back. Especially, they will say maybe if you are doing telephonically, punch in the last four numbers, obviously, and your password. So via cell phone, right? Nowadays, due to technology, right? Remember, our cell phones are very technology, it is helping us. When you look at my cell phone, for example, here is mine for FNB. Can you see? Right? Immediately it is protected by what? There is a login. When I click there, obviously I must do what? Put on my password or use my fingerprint. So now technology is also assisting us. Let me try to log in. I normally use this. So my bank balance is not going to show. Immediately when you do this, you go to continue. Just using a cell phone. So cell phones now, it is making things easier for us. And then everything is there. Then you go to home. Then there's accounts, there's payments, there's transfers, there's cards, the cards that I have, and so on and so on. There's an option to make what? Transfers, blah 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 blah, statements and everything. So cell phones as well, they can also assist us to do what? To do what? EFTs. Right. EFT can also be made through the use of debit card. Here we've got that point of sale. I said on that card there are also numbers that you can use, right? So now in tourism context, how can you use an EFT, for example? Maybe when you book a hotel, need a stay, or by a travel agent, or for a big tourism business, maybe you need to pay salaries and so on, right? Remember, people have to get paid. So all those things are the things that you can use what in tourism context an EFT for, right? Number one, I said it is also known as an online banking. Number two, let me just go back. Our ATMs now. ATM stands for what? Automated teller machines, right? You can see nowadays that human resource is being replaced by what? By technology, right? Technology is replacing. As soon we'll have what? Robots, right? So some of the ATMs that we have now, the automated teller machines, they also have up-to-date what? Technology. Instead of going to the bank and joining all those long queues and so on, you might just have to go to your ATM, because now they've got multiple functions, and then you can be able to have what? To do an EFT, as long as the person paying and the business receiving the payments have what? Internet banking. What did you say is an EFT? Just two names: electronic fund transfer, or online banking, or internet banking. It is the transfer of money online. It is the payment or transfer of money using the internet, and then we said wherever where the tourists are, or at any time. Important thing, in order for you to use EFT, both the person sending and receiving the money must do what? Must have internet banking accounts. Good advantage: it can be made from a computer, an ATM, telephone, cell phone, or through a debit card, whereby you're going to use your point of sale. EFT can be done for various reasons in tourism context, maybe for a hotel booking, or maybe you have asked a travel agent to do a tour plan for you, or you're a big tourism business like a hotel, and then you need to pay salaries for your people. Right, now let's move to look at, okay, there's the images. Remember, we tried to interpret these images earlier. Right, let's now look at some of the advantages of using EFT. Right, now here on your papers, if they are asking you to list the advantages or to discuss them, please don't just write that it is safe. What do you mean by that, right? As you can see my statement, I've explained things, right? I'm not just saying it is quick. I'm not just saying it is fast. You need to explain, what do you mean when you say it is quick? So we are saying it is quick, or a fast, or a convenient way of sending money. Due to what? Because it saves what? Time. Remember we said because it can be made from anywhere. Obviously, as long as you have what? Enough funds in your bank account. You have the two linked accounts, and you have what? Either an ATM access, or a cell phone access, or a computer. Right. So we are saying an advantage of using EFT: it is quick or fast or convenient because it saves what? Time. Or how does it save time? How is it convenient? How is it fast? How is it quick? Because it can be done from anywhere. So you can be able to book a accommodation or car rental from here, as long as so it does not restrict one to the location. The second one, I am saying, using an EFT. Imagine if maybe you need to pay $1,000 and so on in overseas, right? So we are saying it is safer than carrying cash. Remember, you can get marked, money can get lost, money can be heavy, and so on. So for big or huge payments, it is safer than doing what? Than carrying cash. When I made my example earlier, remember I had to use my fingerprint to open my thingy. So we are saying it is very safe. Why? because it is protected by PIN or password. Let me add that. And username. Ne? So obviously, you will be given how many attempts to log in? 3 attempts. You might fail the first PIN, the second PIN. After the third PIN, then the profile will be blocked. So that is an advantage of using what? An EFT. So it is safe, it is protected what? By PIN. What does PIN stands for from grade 10? It is personal identity number. Obviously, your PIN, it is for you. It is not your ID. No. Then we are saying it is safe or a secure way to do what? Transfer. Obviously, remember what we said here. It is a transfer between what? 2 people. And both of you will have what? Internet banking accounts. So it is very safe because you would know whom you are paying the or making a transfer to. It is faster as it saves what? Time. As it saves time, right? So it is another advantage. It can be used or done at any time. So that is part of convenience, and it can be used what? Wherever. So these are some of the few advantages of using what? An electronic fund transfer. Number 1, it is quick, fast, convenient. It saves time because it can be done from anywhere. 2, it is safer than carrying cash. 3, it is safe as it is protected by PIN or password and what? And username. 4, it is safe and a secure way to do transfer due to the linked account numbers. It is faster as it saves time. It can be used at any time and can be used wherever. These are some of advantages of using an electronic fund transfer. Then we move to some of the disadvantages of using an EFT. If you remember very well when we started, remember we said that you need what? A laptop, ATM, sometimes cell phone, telephone, and so on. So when you do an EFT, it is not easily accessible because it restricts you to what? To an ATM. It restricts you to a cell phone, and in a cell phone you need to register, download the app, and so on. It also restricts you to a laptop and so on. And when you do not have internet access, it means that you will not be able to do an EFT. So hence I'm saying it is not easily accessible. The second one, we are saying, remember, to use an internet you need what? Data or data, right? So it is restricted by the internet. So when you do not have the internet, you will not be able to do what? To do an EFT. And remember we said that data, it is very expensive. Advantage number 3, it is not always a good method of payment. Remember I said before you choose each payment method, you also need to analyze the convenience. Is it convenient? So it is not always a good method of payment as street vendors do not use it, right? So what if now you want to do cultural tourism, you want to experience some cuisine by the taxi rank and so on, then what? The account can get hacked. Remember, I spoke about password and so on. So someone, if you end up forgetting to log out from your profile, someone can get into your account and do their own transfer. So fraud can happen. Are you following? So that's what we're talking about today. It restricts one to the internet. In what way? Without internet access, one will not be able to make what? The payment. Sometimes I normally, when I do the thingy, the payment for my child every month when I get paid, and also for my mom, there is an option that it gives me when I do an EFT. There is an instant payment, and normally when you do an instant payment, there's an additional fee there. And then the normal one, a payment can take 2 to 3 days to delay. So that's what I'm talking about here when I say it has what? Delays. So if you want an instant payment, obviously there's a fee for that. So if you want a normal one, so a payment can take between 24 hours, if not longer, for it to reflect. So that's why I'm saying that it can cause what? Delays in terms of the payment to reflect. Am I making sense? Good. You also need access to the computer. And the last one, no PIN, no access. So if you forget your PIN and so on, and you only have money on account and you want to do an EFT, then you will not be able to do what? To make the payment. Right. I'm going to give you 1 minute so that you can be able to try to jot down these advantages. Right. Remember, I said we are available on our WhatsApp line 079 454 9535. 079 454 9535. I'll be back within a minute, whereby you're going to be looking at another form of payment. Right, welcome back. I hope we have written at least 3, if not 4, disadvantages, or have taken what? A screenshot. We are still busy with tourism, whereby we are looking at forms of payment when traveling internationally. We have just looked at an EFT, then we will move to the second payment method. Right. Then we are going to be looking and moving to a SWIFT transfer or a telegraphic transfer. This is payment method number 2. When we are talking about SWIFT transfer, remember, some of people are living overseas, right? So they might need money. So we are now moving from not using courier sensor. So it is a method of sending money from one account to the other. So we are avoiding to use aeroplanes, we are avoiding to use couriers and so on. A telegraphic transfer, it is a method of sending money from one country to the other country. Obviously, when you do this one, we need to know the limit and so on. How does one do a telegraphic transfer? Then I'm saying a person gives who? The bank, right? It is a communication between what? You, the bank account holder. A person gives the bank permission, right, to send a specific amount of money from his or her account to an account in another country. You give the bank permission to send a specific amount of money from your account to an account in another country. What will happen here? We are saying a SWIFT code and account number will be provided for the bank. Obviously, you must provide what? Passport there. So you can be able to send what? Money from a bank account in one country to another country. Let us say maybe you've got family or relatives, or you need to make serious transfers for hotels and so on. So a person gives the bank what? Permission to send a specific amount of money from his or her account to an account in another country. Then a SWIFT code and an account number will be provided for the bank. Advantages of telegraphic transfer, right? Remember I said before each and every payment method, you need to check what? The convenience. So with this one telegraphic transfer, you do not need the internet, right? Obviously, it is going to be what? A communication between you and the bank. Who receives the information? The bank is the one that receives what? The information to do what? To do that particular transfer. So this is a bit safer. Another advantage is that money can be sent overseas. Remember, in terms of location, transport is it is expensive and so on. So you can be able to send money where? Overseas. We are also saying it is a quicker way to transfer money than using courier services. I did explain that. You don't need the internet. It is safe as the bank receives information. You can send money overseas. It is a quicker way to transfer money than using courier services. Please add at least 3 advantages, because it is unfortunate that we never know which payment method can they possibly ask us about in our final exams. Disadvantages of using telegraphic transfer as a payment method. Obviously, the first one, remember this would be communication between one bank and another bank, right? And you are sending money where? From one country to another country. So what are we saying here? The first one, we've got administration fees. Here we're talking about what? Money to administer the whole process. So it has fees. So it is not for free. Commission fees can be high. Remember, commission here, we're talking about what? The main goal of the bank is to do what? Is to make profit. So when they are doing all these transfers, the banks are also expecting to do what? To do a turnover or profit from it. So we are saying commission fees can be very high. Obviously, the higher the amount, the higher the transfer will be. The commission fee transfer will be. Remember here, if it happens that you need money instantly, we are saying payments can delay. So it can take up to a week to process the whole payment. So you need to have what here? Enough time. So that is an disadvantage. There is a time limit of about 30 days to collect the money and convert it into local currency. So you need to make sure that within that 30 days, you have collected the money and you have converted it into what? The local currency. Because remember, we said here you are going to be sending what? Money from one country to another. Right. So those are some of the disadvantages of using a telegraphic transfer. There's administration fee. The commission fees can be high. Obviously, I said this one will depend on how much you are transferring. The higher the amount, the higher the commission fee. 3, due to time, we are saying payments can delay, as it can take up to a week to process that particular payment or transfer. There is a time limit. There's a time limit, apologies, of about 30 days to collect the money and convert it to local currency. So you need to ensure that as soon as you get the money, you are able to do what? To collect it on time and convert it to local currency. After 30 days, then you will not be able to, then it will go back. Right. Then we have a bank draft, right? This is sort of like a check. Obviously, the bank name will be there, an amount will be there, the sum of the amount will be there, the signatures will be there, who is it from, where it is going. So try to zoom this picture that I have there so that you can be able to check what is that is going on. So a bank draft will be payment number 3. Let me just drink water. Right, so what is a bank draft? Excuse me. Sorry, a bank draft, we are saying here, it is a type of check. Mind you, I said earlier, checks are not accepted in most businesses as a payment method, right? So it is a type of check where the payment is guaranteed to be available by the issuing bank. Hence, I said try to zoom that particular picture. It is a type of check where the payment is guaranteed to be available by the issuing bank. What happens? The bank receives the bank drafter's requests account to see if sufficient in this context means one, enough, right? The bank receives the bank drafter's requester's account to see if sufficient funds are available for the check to clear. And once sufficient funds has been confirmed, then the bank will effectively set aside the funds from the person's account to be given out when the bank draft it is used. Let me read again. The bank receives the bank drafter's request account to see if sufficient funds are available for the check to clear. Right? Right. Once sufficient funds has been confirmed, meaning enough money, then the bank effectively sets aside the funds from the person's account to be given out when the bank draft it is used. It is a type of check where the bank is guaranteed to be available by the issuing bank. Few advantages of using a bank draft. Number one, it can be replaced. Remember, things happen, right? It can be replaced if stolen, as long as you are going to be able to prove when they check the signatures and so on. So if it is lost, it can be replaced by who? By the bank. If it is stolen, right? Remember, things can happen, especially for tourists, right? You might be traveling and then you get marked. So it can be replaced if stolen. Check this one. This is if lost, and then this one it is what? If stolen. It can also be posted via mail, right? So it is easily to be moved, right? It can be posted via mail so that the next person can be able to receive it. These are some of the advantages of using what? A bank draft. It can be replaced if lost, it can be replaced if stolen, and it can also be posted. Right, I hope you are learning. As we are moving again, you will see time and again the advantages are checking. Remember, I said it will depend on the payment method. Then we have the disadvantages of what? Of using a bank draft as a payment method. If lost or stolen, one must pay the replacement fee. Understand? So there's a what? Additional fee if it is lost or stolen. One must pay the replacement fee if lost or stolen. So that is an additional charge. So that could be a disadvantage of you using this method. So you need to ensure that it is not misplaced or stolen. It can delay due to time. So if you need to pay something ASAP, then this might delay you. So the bank draft can delay, as it can take up to 2 weeks to receive the money when posted. If you're going to decide to receive the check, if you're going to decide to send it via mail, for example. Right. Then we move to internet payment, right? Which is payment method number 4. So we've got internet payment, also known as online payment. This one we are saying payments can be made from one person to another using what? The internet. Payments can be made from one bank account to another, and in tourism context, you can be able to do this to buy what? Tickets. Payment can be made from one bank account to another and can be used to buy what? For example, air tickets. Another name it is what? Online payment. So it is a payment from one person to another using what? The internet. Obviously, with this one, you will also need to register for internet banking. So that you can be able to have your password, you can be able to have your username, and so on. So the technology nowadays, it is making things to be easier for us. Advantages of internet payment. Again, it is fast and convenient, right? Remember, using the internet, meaning it can be easily for you to what? To make the payment, as long as you are registered for internet payment. It is a secure way to make payments as it is protected by PIN and the password, right? So without a PIN and a password, it means that you will not be able to make what? The payment. Even if you can get hacked and so on. If a person does not have the PIN and also the password, then they will not be able to access the funds. Hence, I am saying that it is secure. Make sure that your answers here, they are explanatory. You need to explain. It has limits, right? We know this. If you need to make an internet payment, there's a daily limit and also monthly limit. So, meaning, excuse me, you cannot misuse what? The money. So it is safe. Even if someone can be able to get access to your PIN and password and steal money before you report it, and then as soon as you report it, obviously it is going to do what? It can be blocked as it has a limit. You can report it and so on. So you will not lose what? A lot of money because of what? Of daily limit. You do not need to carry cash, right? So it is a bit what? Safe. It can also help to pay for accommodation where? In overseas. Disadvantages of internet payment. It restricts one to a computer or a cell phone. Obviously, for you to make this payment, you need to have access to a computer or a cell phone. For internet payment, you need what? Again, it's a bit of a repetition like what we had been discussing, what online payment. It needs data or the internet. So that is a disadvantage. Fraud can happen. A person may have access to your account if you do not log out. So this is where fraud can happen, and you will not know now how to trace it. Another thing here in terms of safety, let me say not safe, right? Or not the safest, right? Remember that when we sell our tourism products and services, it is best to have one of the characteristics of tourism. It is inseparable, right? What do you mean by that? The person providing the service and the one receiving and so on, it is an experience. So we need that direct contact between the businesses, so for you to trust it. So when you do internet payment, there's no direct contact between what? The businesses. So it is not the safest. Again, it is protected by what? By daily limits. So the daily limits, they may, how is it a disadvantage? Here, if you want to pay more than your daily limit, then you need to go back and log in and do what? Change your daily limits. We are also saying it can take time to reflect. right? Remember, I spoke about instant payment and also the one that normally takes place. If you want an instant payment, obviously you will pay more, right? An additional fee for that. So it can take time to reflect, either a day, or if the instant, obviously the money will go in immediately. If not, you can take 2 to 3 days to reflect, especially if you are using different banks. So this can be a disadvantage due to the delay in terms of what? Time. Right. Then we move to the easiest payment method, whereby now we are talking about what? Foreign bank notes or cash. What are we saying here? We are saying in terms of foreign banknotes, we are saying tourists pay using what? Cash. Remember, we said we are dealing with methods to obtain what? Customer feedback. Sorry, method for payment methods, right? So foreign banknotes or cash, obviously this one we said in grade 11 when we're doing foreign exchange, and also in grade 12 we said that each country has its own what? Currency. So when you go overseas, you need to do what? To buy banknotes, right? In the United States, we know they use dollars. In Europe, they use euros, and then pounds in Britain, in Japan, the yen, and in Australia, Australian dollar. Obviously, depending. So when we're talking about cash or foreign banknotes, we are saying here, tourists pay using what? Cash. But we need to remember that you need to do what? Foreign exchange. So this is another method of paying for our goods and services. You can just pay using what? Using cash. That's what you're talking about there. There you've got 5 euros. Yes, 5 euros. Yes. Now, what are the advantages of using cash? So, cash can be used to pay for smaller items, like maybe cool drink, or you need to pay for your taxi fare and so on. So you can use cash. And another advantage is that it is accepted everywhere, no interest or additional charges. These are some of the advantages of using cash. Cash can be used to pay for smaller items like cool drinks, public transport, and so on. It is mostly accepted everywhere or anywhere, and there are no interest or additional charges because you are just paying using what? Using your cash. I hope I'm making sense there. Remember, we said we are available on our WhatsApp line 079 454 9535. 079 454 9535. Please do send us our questions. We'd really like to interact with you. Ask questions and we will get back to you. Now, what are the disadvantages of paying using cash? We are saying the first one, remember when we're dealing with bank buying rate and bank selling rate and foreign exchange, remember we said to do foreign exchange, to sell or buy foreign currency, the bank means aim is to make what? Commission from you, the tourist. So when you have to exchange, then remember you need to pay for what? Pay commission when buying or exchanging foreign currency. The second disadvantage, we are saying it cannot be replaced if lost or stolen. That's the truth, right? Cash cannot be replaced if lost or stolen. Therefore, it is not the safest payment method. It is not what? The safest payment method. First disadvantage, you need to pay what? Commission when buying or exchanging foreign currency. Number 2, it cannot be replaced if lost or stolen, right? We know things happen. Therefore, cash, it is not safe. Double check your scenarios, remember. Is this allowing me to use cash? If yes, Then you continue. How much will I need? Is it safe for me to carry this amount of cash? So check all those advantages and disadvantages. And then we move to credit cards. Then in terms of credit, obviously here it is debts. Be very careful of this one. With a credit card, obviously here you need to apply for it via a bank. And then we are saying you need to have a good credit score. How does one get a credit card? Avoid doing this by all means, but it might help for some people. So you go to the bank, you apply for a credit card. Obviously, you must apply for submit your documents. They will check how much you earn. They will check your credit score, meaning in the previous month, have you had credit before? How have you been paying? So if you're a good payer, then you might be given a chance to own what a credit card. The bank, obviously, in this context, they will give you a card and then you will own it, right? It will be yours. Then there will be a certain amount of money that they will be borrowing you, obviously with interest, right? And then with that, funds will always be available depending on how you are paying, right? And then you can be able to use the money in the credit card, obviously. So your credit card must have what? Sufficient funds, right? So that's the process of having what? A credit card. So we are saying credit cards are from different banks. There's a Visa one, there's MasterCard, there's American Express, and also there's Diners Club. Those are some of the different types of credit cards that we have. So how can you use a credit card? It can be used to withdraw money, but it is usually used for direct payments for goods and services. So it has multiple functions, right? You can either withdraw money or it is for direct payment for goods and services. Remember those visuals that I was showing you when we started the lesson. A credit holder, here we're talking about a person owning the card, is given a credit what? Limit. Maybe 60,000, 50,000, 20,000, 10,000 or 1,000, depending obviously on your salary or how much money do you have on your credit score. Then if you're a good payer, then they will give you more. So we are saying a holder for credit card is given a credit limit, meaning there is amount that you may not exceed and can spend up to this limit that the required monthly payments are made. A holder for the credit card is given a credit card and can spend up to this limit provided that the required monthly payments are made. So this can also be a trap for trouble or problems. But sometimes on your debit card, you might not have enough funds, then you can use your credit card. Right, advantages of using a credit card as a payment method. The first one, we are saying it replaces cash. So your credit card will replace what? Your cash, meaning you having to carry around what? Cash. Number two, we know we've got things that are busy happening. Hence, we are saying one can be able to buy and pay in credit and pay later. So this will also be a disadvantage. But for now, it is what? An advantage. An advantage, you can be able to buy or pay in credit depending on whether you have what? Enough funds. Then you will pay it what? Later. When you say later, we are saying on monthly installments and so on. Two, we are saying it is safe. So using a credit card, it is safe. It is protected by your PIN. Obviously, when we have to tap or when we have to swipe, then you need to punch in your password. At times, again, when you use a credit card, the personnel there by the shops, they will normally, there's a signature at the back of your card. They must double check whether the signature on the card and on your receipt are the same. Then if they are not the same, then they will start to question it, and then they will say, no, you cannot be able to use it. So it is safe. Again, it is protected by PIN and a signature, which is your signature. The signature of who? Of the owner of the card. So another advantage is that it has multiple functions. So you are not just limited to having money in the card, but you can actually be able to withdraw the money by the or from the ATM anywhere in the world. So that's another advantage of using an ATM. We know things happen. Again, you can either get marked, or you may misplace it, or it can get lost or stolen. So we are saying it can be replaced if lost or stolen. Obviously, you will have to go to the bank to inform them, and then within a week or so, then you can get a replacement. Remember, here we are talking about what? Credit, which can leave a person in debt, right? So we are saying another advantage is that with a credit card, it has what? A credit limit. So if they've given you a credit card for 2,000 rand, it means that you cannot be able to spend over 2,000 rand, right? So that is a good advantage, because you will not exceed what? The limit, or be indebted. For you, if you want to buy a car, a house, and so on, we have something known as the credit score. It basically checks in terms of how many accounts do we have, are you a good payer or not, and a higher credit score gives you better chances to get what? Credit. So it helps to improve the credit score if well maintained and paid. If it is well maintained and paid. So on monthly basis, you need to pay back all the monies that you are owing. I spoke a lot about credit card. Number one, it replaces cash. Two, one can be able to buy or pay in credit card, then pay for later. So that is a big advantage. It is safe. It is, as it is protected by personal identity number, which is your PIN. It is safe, again, as it is protected by your signature. And we are also saying that you will not only have money in your card, but you can also be able to withdraw the money anywhere in the world. Then that is an advantage. Then we are also saying, if it happens that you misplace it for a very long time and then you don't find it, or it gets lost or stolen, then it means that you can be able to go to the bank, and then they can be able to, you apply, then they issue with another one. It helps because it has credit limit, so you will not go beyond what you can afford to pay back. It also helps to improve credit scores if it is well maintained. When we say well maintained paid, it means on monthly basis, or time and again it is paid on time. Right, those are the some of the advantages of using a credit card. Remember, I said if this was dealt with already where you are just need to add this from Mr. Nkonyini's notes, which is myself. After advantages, obviously we need to look at the disadvantages of using credit card. Number one, it is not accepted by some of the businesses. So immediately when you enter business by the door, you will see some will say credit cards are not accepted here due to fraud of the signatures and so on. So it is not accepted by some businesses, and we are saying because of interest rates, right? So 9%, we saw a repo rate went up last week and so on. So everyone who has credit, then they are worried. So due to the high interest rates, then it may lead to someone having what? Debts, right? So that could be what? A disadvantage of having a credit card as a payment method. And remember, you might be doing multiple transactions. Maybe you are buying airtime, maybe you are buying food, maybe you need to pay for accommodation. So there are transaction fees for each payment method. Understand? So there are additional fees for each transaction that is either successful or not, right? So there are transaction fees on each payment. Before we are saying, remember we said they are protected by PIN when you're talking about advantages. But now we are saying fraud can also happen. Someone may fake your signature, and if they know your PIN, then they will have what? Access to your account, right? Or to your money. So some can even forge the signature, and then hence we are saying fraud can happen. Another advantage, we are saying it has credit limits, right? So what if I want 30,000 rands? You understand? What if I want to spend more than that? Or sometimes you find out you don't even qualify for one to have credit. So it has what? Credit limits. We know that online payments can also delay. So offline can also delay payments, right? When the system is off and so on, then the payments can be delayed. Right. So these are some of the disadvantages of using a credit card as a payment method. Then we have a traveler's check. Remember we spoke about a bank draft. Now we have another method, which is a traveler's check. They are signed checks exchanged for cash overseas when showing a passport. They are a signed check exchanged for cash overseas when showing a passport. And we are saying the value of the check, meaning how much is it there. It is printed on the document. But we are saying this one, it is rarely used and it is not available to use it because it has been discontinued. For example, here in South Africa, we no longer accept it. Right? So remember, I said you need to be very careful before you choose a payment method. Check, can I use it here? Is it easily accessible? What are its advantages? What are its disadvantages? Then you also link it in terms of convenience, right? So a traveler's check has been discontinued where? Here in South Africa. So it can fall under what? Disadvantages. Advantages of using a traveler's check as a payment method. Number one, I said to you, it is safer than carrying cash because you just have a smaller yana paper with you. If it gets lost or stolen, it can be replaced, right? Within 24 hours, it is easier to use and it is a bit safe due to the signature. So it is safer than carrying cash. It can be replaced when lost or stolen within 24 hours. It is easier to use. It is safe due to the signature. Right. Those are some of the advantages of using a traveler's check as a payment method. Let's look at some of the few disadvantages of using a traveler's check as a payment method. Number one, you need to go to the bank to exchange it, right? So additional time, additional costs. You must produce evidence that it is yours. You must produce identity number, your ID book, and so on. So those are some of the disadvantages. You need to go to the bank to exchange it. Number two, only the person assigned it, only the person it is assigned to can be able to cash it out, right? Not everyone can be able to cash it out. Only the person that it is assigned to can cash it out. The exchange fees can be expensive, right? And this one is very important. We are saying it is not accepted everywhere. Hence, you need to do what? To make a research before you visit a particular place or country. Number one, you need to go to the bank to exchange it. Two, only the person is assigned to it can be able to cash it out. Three, exchange fees can be expensive. Then four, it is not accepted everywhere, right? And those are the things that you need to know about a traveler's check. Please don't confuse it with the bank draft. Please do not. We are getting there. And as soon as we are done, we're going to be looking at some of our activities. Then we have preloaded. No, what happened here? Please forgive me. Preloaded foreign currency. I think this is the last method. Foreign currency debit cards, right? Preloaded foreign currency debit cards. What are we talking about here? When we say pre, it means what? Before, right? Before departure and so on. So this one, big businessmen, big businesswomen, people who have money, who are money to travel overseas time and again, they've got this preloaded foreign currency debit cards. You know what are debit cards? These are the cards that they're normal bank cards. But with this one, it is what? A foreign currency debit card. Point number one, we are saying in terms of preloaded foreign currency debit card, they are prepaid forex cards, right? Forex means what in this context? Foreign exchange, right? When we say prepaid, yeah, remember we've got prepaid electricity there at home. Prepaid means you buy your own card, right? So with this one, again, you can own the card, then time and again, you can be able to load cash onto it. It is only, often available in all major banks. They work like a Visa or a MasterCard. They look exactly the same as credit cards and have some of them the same functions. For example, they can be used at the speed points to withdraw cash, also by the ATMs and so on. For example, with this one, if the customer does not have sufficient funds on the account, then the transaction will decline, and then a tourist will be seeing balance in a foreign currency. Remember, it will depend again on the currency of the country that you are visiting. Hence, we are saying it is foreign currency debit card. They are prepaid forex cards. They are often available in all major banks. They work like a Visa or a MasterCard. They look exactly the same as credit cards and have some of the same functions. For example, they can be used at the speed points, and they can also use to withdraw cash from the automated teller machines or our ATMs. Obviously, if you do not have sufficient funds on the account, then the transaction will decline. And then above all, we are saying a tourist will be seeing the balance in the foreign currency, meaning the currency of the country that you are visiting and so on. And you need to load cash time and again. Let's look at few advantages of using a preloaded foreign debit card. We are saying here the tourist, the first advantage is that you have more control over the travel budget, as you will know how much money has been loaded onto the card. So you cannot overspend here, right? Tourists will have more control over travel budget as they will know how much they have, has been loaded onto the card. And remember, you'll get SMSs as you spend the money, the balances, and so on. So preloaded foreign debit cards, we are also saying that they are safe and secure as they are protected by PIN, and they've got multiple functions. As I said, they can be used to withdraw money by the ATM, and they can be replaced if lost or stolen. Obviously, you need to provide information by the bank and so on to say I've lost my card like this. With preloaded foreign debit cards, tourists will have more control over travel budget as they will know how much has been loaded onto the card. They are safe and secure as they are protected by PIN. Money can be withdrawn from an ATM, and they can be replaced if they are lost or they are stolen. Right. Then we move to the activities for expansion, right? I'm not seeing the disadvantages here. Let me just add them first. Disadvantages of using the preloaded currency, foreign currency debit card. Right? Number one, obviously, if someone it is not safe as one can use your card if they know your PIN, right? If they know your PIN, then fraud can happen, right? Number two, can be lost or stolen. So obviously, remember, because it is the card, it can be lost or stolen, right? You need to pay for transaction. So it has what? Transaction fees, right? Transaction fees. So you pay more there. So that is a what? That is a disadvantage. And then the fourth one coming to my mind is that you pay high commission fees at the bank. Remember, time and again, you need to load. So disadvantage of using preloaded foreign currency debit card, it is not safe, as one can use your card without your permission if they know your PIN, right? They can be lost or stolen. There are transaction fees. Then you pay high commission fees as you need to load the money onto the card time and again. Right. We have looked at all those different forms of payment. Then we also, these forms of payment when traveling internationally. We looked at some description of each payment method. We also looked at advantages and disadvantages. Then we also looked at the pictures. Now let's just go to a few activities, right? Because the activities, they test our understanding. Some question can come out like this. So this will be activity 1, right? It is very important that you read the examiner's instructions before moving for 5 marks. Remember, I said it is easy to get marks. Choose a form of payment, right? When traveling international from column B, that matches the examples in column A. Do you see why I had to give you those pictures earlier? It is because of this one. Then the examiner continues to say, write only the letter A to F next to question number 1.4.1 to 1.4.5, for example, 1.4.6 G. Let's just try to interpret this activity. Let's check on column A. What do we have? We have the examples of payment method. The first one is a diner's card. Interpret it. Remember, it is visual literacy. The second one, you've got, remember, we're talking about what? Foreign currency. So you've got 5 euros, 10 euros. Here we have what? Foreign currency or cash. And then here we've got a credit card. There you've got what? A cash passport. Here it is our preloaded foreign credit card. Then here the description. Remember when I started, this is an quick and easy and convenient way to transfer funds from anywhere in the world. Oh, now there are pictures and also there is a description. Now let's check what do we have. So we are going to be matching the payment method that we have on column B to the examples that we have there on column A. Then let's go to column B. On A, what do we have? We have a preloaded foreign currency debit card. And then B, we've got SWIFT. And then 3, we've got traveler's check. C, we've got traveler's check. And then D, we've got foreign currency Then E, we've got credit card. And then F, we've got local debit card. Now we need to try to match this. Let's check. So what did the examiner say? Write only 1.4.1 to 1.4.5. Let me do that first. 1.4.1, this is me numbering following the examiner's instruction. 1.4.1, 1.4.2, 1.4.3, 1.4.4, and 1.4.5. Let's first check. What do we have under 1.4.5? What is a quick and easy way? Then you go and read. Is it a debit card? It is a traveler's check, foreign currency. So for 1.4.5, I remember very well, it is a SWIFT transfer. Remember they said write only what? The letter. So you cannot now write SWIFT transfer. You need to write what? The letters. Here are the letters that have been given to us, right? And there's an explanation of the payment method. So be very careful there. Follow the examiner's instructions, because in marking center we see imihlo 1.4.5. When I check my payment method, which one it is a quick, easy, and convenient way to transfer funds from anywhere in the world, then I will say it is a SWIFT transfer, and it falls under which letter? Under B, right? Then 1.4.2, if I remember very well, there's 5 euros, 10 euros, 20 euros, 50 euros, and 100. What are we talking about then? When you check the pictures or the images, you see that this is cash, or this is what? Foreign what? Currency, because it is what? Euros. So what is the payment method for B? Then I will go and look for it. Then I'm seeing foreign currency, and it falls under which letter? Under D. Then for 1.4.2, then I'll have what? Let me double check. Then I'll have alphabet D, right? This is you now. You read, you interpret the picture, read your column B. Capitec. So check there. Under F, they said what? Local debit card. So 1.4.3, then there I will have what? F, right? And then cash passport, then it belongs to a preloaded foreign currency card. Let's double check. Yes. Can you see here? It is even in EUR. So this is the evidence that shows at what it is a preloaded foreign currency card. 1.4.4. Then I will have A. And then the last one, which one is missing? Diners Club. It is check. No, it is a credit card used where? Internationally. Then it is going to go under what? Under 1.4.1 EDFAB. So which one do we have there? Not have there. We don't have what? A traveler's check. That was our first activity. Then 1 mark, 1 mark, 1 mark, 1 mark, 1 mark. Then you get your 5/5. Right. Then the second activity in these few minutes that we have, let's just put to check. You need to be very careful here, because we are also saying that you can yes. Okay. You can also get some of the questions from multiple choice, which is your first question on your section A of your tourism papers, right? Then now here they've given us a short description. A form of payment that allows for convenient. Remember I said when you are busy interpreting each activity, each and every payment method, you need to check its convenience, you need to check its advantage, right? Now they are saying a form of payment that allows for convenient, right, electronic banking from the comfort of your home, right? Which one? Can you pay using cash in the comfort of your home? No. Can you use a bank draft in the comfort of your home? No. Can you use an ATM in the comfort of your home? No. Can you use an EFT? Yes. So the correct answer there will be what? D, which is an EFT. Then you get your mark. So make sure that you read your statement and remember the advantages and the disadvantages. You do not just choose any letter. Read. You need to spend at least 30 seconds in each question. Then the second one, obvious from another paper. The preloaded payment method below, remember I spoke about what again? I spoke about visual literacy. The preloaded payment method below is convenient for international tourists because when you interpret, what are we talking there? There is a cash passport. Then which one is this one? It is a preloaded foreign currency card. Because it is completely separate from the traveler's bank account, can only be used in one country. It expires after 1 year, which is important. State it gives travelers, it gives the traveler the option of receiving a monthly statement. Incorrect. It expires. Correct. In this context, remember they are saying the preloaded payment. It is convenient for international tourists because, so what is the function of this? It can be only used in one country for this one, because here they are talking about what? The euros. So the correct answer there will be what? B. Right? Let's move. Then the last activity is going to be activity 3. Again, they are saying study the picture. Hence, there's a reason as to why I was showing what? The pictures when we started. Study the picture below and answer the question. The journey of what? The traveler's check. Then you must remember, what did Mr. Nkonyeni say about traveler's check? I said that it is no longer accepted in most countries. In South Africa, it is not accepted. And then now we have what? Rest in peace. We are not really saying dies, but we are saying it has been discontinued. Then there's rest in peace. Rest in peace to what? To this particular payment method. Visual literacy. Study and check what is happening there for 4 marks. 4 marks, it is quite a lot. Then point 2 point. Interpret the message, right? In the picture above about the use of traveler's check. So what are we saying? It has been discontinued, right? In most countries, or it is not easily acceptable in most countries. Then you get your 2 marks. Then they say, give 2 forms of payment that have replaced traveler's check during international travel. Obviously here, we're going to talk about a bank draft, right? The card there will, it's going to be a bank draft or any other. It is going to be a bank draft or any other forms of payment that we can have. We can accept that. Then the last activity, they are saying a SWIFT code is a SWIFT or a SWOT, so multiple choice. It is needed to transfer money to another country. Which one it is correct one? It is a SWIFT. Remember, I spoke about this when I first started. Right. What is it that we have dealt with today? We looked at all the forms of payments that we have in tourism context. We looked at their short description. We looked at their use in tourism context. We also looked at the pictures, the visuals, and then it is very important for you to analyze them. Then we also looked at the advantages and the disadvantages for each, and then we close by doing some activities. I would like to say thank you for watching. I hope to see you next time. Remember, we are saying wear your mask, sanitize, practice social distancing, and we are saying hashtag Intoingawe, hashtag you can do this. Babaga Ayabonga was here. I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.